Hey everybody, this is iLad and we are back for some more Planet Zoo. Now, before we get too far into the zoo here, I have a confession to make. Y'all know what franchise zoos are for, right? They're for abandoning, right? Right? I sort of gave up on the zoo that I was recording before. There were too many elements of it that I just didn't like the way it was going, and I thought, it'll be easier to start fresh. So this is not me starting fresh. This is a interim project. Basically, I've really been itching to record more Planet Zoo content, and oh boy, that's a little jank, isn't it? And I don't really have the time to do a building series, and I don't really have much else that I can do in Planet Zoo. And then it occurred to me, I've got this huge franchise zoo that I can't even record unpaused, which is why everybody's kind of frozen in time here, because that's not creepy. Like, I have to be paused to record this because it's so big and there are so many animals and so many people. And this zoo was not built for YouTube. Under no stretch of the imagination was I ever planning to record it. But it's here, and I've done some things in it that I'm kind of proud of. And although the zoo as a whole is very much, well, if you've ever wondered what a YouTuber does when they're not being recorded, it's not going to be my best work, okay? But, like, you can see a floating platform up there, for instance. I'm not even sure why that's there. I think that might have been a misclick at some point. Yeah, so I'm going to show it off anyway, and we're going to skip over some of the more jank parts and just kind of focus, and also skip over the fact that I'm using a lot of the in-game, like, built-in blueprints. And we're going to focus on the stuff that I did that I'm pretty proud of. So this episode, I'm just going to sort of give you an overview of the zoo itself. And then in following episodes, I'll be looking at specific things that I think are worthy of attention. Even though they weren't made to be recorded. And look, I did absolutely no work whatsoever to clean this zoo up and make it video worthy. In fact, with one exception, one habitat that I've recently added, there has been no recent work done on this zoo at all. Does this thing just make noises? Maybe not. I heard something, but who knows. So like I made no effort to get this cleaned up or prettied up for recording, and like this is why we have, you know, glass all the way down to the grass with absolutely nothing decorating it. It is what it is. Alright, so I obviously kept the default entryway. You know, again, wasn't really trying to do anything special for recording purposes. Our two starting habitats are the red pandas and the binturongs. Love starting with these two. They do bring in crowds pretty quickly. You can see that, like, I sort of tried to make it look a bit like an old historical section in a real life zoo, and these are the two first habitats that I put in. My backstage game is extremely weak, and this is actually one of the reasons why I gave up on the zoo that I had been recording. It's because I want a fresh start where I'm putting more effort and attention into backstage areas. Over here we've got the, I guess, the greenhouse. It's a restaurant. Yeah. Yep. Call it a conservatory. Yeah. Conservatory. Food truck. Blocking the view of it. That's classy. Oh, ow. You see that frame rate stutter? This is why I can't unpause the zoo. This is the historic lemur habitat. Super sloppy in some parts of the backstage area there, but I was at least trying to experiment with some new shapes. Just whoa, for the hard shelter. So that's something, you know, again, a lot of the zoo is just me just figuring things out and being experimental. Then we get over to one of my absolute favorite habitats in this zoo, and that is the Amazonia area. I think that's actually what I called it. So, let me see if I can find an actual section of barrier to click on. There we go. Amazonia habitat. Yeah, that is what I called it. In here we have 20 billion turtles. The Galapagos giant tortoise. I'm aware that they're not turtles. Like I did put more effort into this habitat than I did in most of them. But yeah, we've got the tortoise, we've got Baird's tapirs, we've got llamas, we've got capybaras. I love capybaras. They're pretty great. This is where I figured out that tortoises actually hate getting wet, apparently. I don't know if it's still doing it, but for a while, like anytime one of them was walking under any of these water features, they were just like inspiring protesters to come in and savage me. But yeah, like this habitat, as you can see, is quite popular with the locals. Back in here, I've got another. Oh wait, that's just a couple of little stands. But here's my other restaurant, or one of my other restaurants. And this is an entirely custom interior, and I spent a lot of time on this, and I'm pretty proud of it as well. And basically, obviously, what I did was I took the built-in seating that's available for the restaurant, and I pretty much covered every surface except the seat cushions themselves. And yeah, it could be better. The floor kind of bugs me, if I'm being honest, but I'm pretty proud of how that came out, and I'll be doing more work like that, and hopefully more sophisticated work like that in the future. Alright, continuing on around. Let's see, that's the access to the backstage for the Amazonia. This is just a nice little garden area. That's a blueprint, isn't it? 99%. Oh yeah, 100% sure. Let's see, we got meerkats, and is it aardvarks? Yeah, it's aardvarks. Yeah. This came out alright, despite mostly being a blueprint and a bunch of junk, but love the shape of it and the way that it kind of nestles into the roundabout on the path there. Let's see, coming around here, I'm kind of thinking about the order that I want to show stuff off in. I guess the next stop will be this. So coming out here, we've got big old gondola system, and this has been a lot more popular than it is. I have seen people backed all the way out, like to right there. That's why this huge wraparound exists. A little disappointed that they've kind of dropped off in ridership, but underneath here, so when you build these raised platforms, what you get is these big open spaces full of beams and girders. So I thought, hey, I can use that space. So I've got like a staff entrance into the building right here, and then got all these African themed shops and stands. And why is nobody queuing for these? Crazy line there and there. Anyway, makes no sense. And then of course this is themed to sort of have like a, I don't know, an earthy, maybe, I don't want to call it African, but let's say African color tone inspired. Because it essentially takes you past the African Highlands, African Safari Hills, yeah. On this side, and as you can see, it's a big old safari habitat with lots and lots of animals in it. springbok. There's Thompson's gazelles, I'm pretty sure, in there. There's the giraffes, zebras, ostriches. This might be where I'm keeping my rhinos. There's the sable antelopes. Yeah. This is also one of my favorite exhibits in the game, or habitats. Little staff door back there. Yep. So that takes you, like, that's pretty much the view that you get in that direction. Come out to this other station, and for reference, the main zoo entrance is right there. So this other station is queuing much more now. That's nice. And then as you go back on this side, you get a lion habitat. And this the lion habitat kind of wraps around this thing. I'll explain it in a bit. And that's been a very productive little lion habitat. I've gotten a lot of conservation points off of selling those lions. Now here's the Safari Lowlands with black wildebeest and another herd of springbok, and I think more Thompson's gazelles are in there somewhere. This habitat, for whatever reason, has a constant issue with poop building up. I don't understand why it's so hard. Like, I've got a ton of keepers assigned to this habitat, and yet there's always poop everywhere. But I guess it's, I don't know what's the deal. And then back to the original station. Yeah. So that's a pretty great little African safari ride here. So one thing that I learned is, if you, and this is a tip for you, if you want to maintain your own population of things like springboks or Thompson's gazelles or whatever, what you can do is you can have a herd in habitat A, right? And every time a male matures, you keep one sort of in reserve in your trading center, and you sell the rest or release or whatever. And then every time a female matures, you take her out of that and you put her across the way in a nearby habitat where there's a second herd. And that second herd has its own male that's not related to the first male. And so then they reproduce. Any males that mature, sell them off, keep one in reserve. Any females that mature, drop her right back in here. The game has limits on how far it tracks family relationships for inbreeding purposes. So basically, that's like more than one generation, and it's not going to know that you're, potentially inbreeding. And so this pretty much allows you to keep an indefinite population going. And that's super helpful in the short-lived species, especially. But yeah, works pretty well. Now, obviously, you got to adjust some of that for matriarchal systems, polyandrous system. Like any time like you get off what we think of as being like a more common way for animals to manage their relationships, then you got to adjust that a bit. It's pretty great. So in the lion habitat, obviously, Pride Rock. How can I not? Come on, it's lions. You got to do what you got to do. But what this tunnel is, this is actually part of a safari jeep ride. And so the idea was, at the end of the jeep ride, and I'll show you the beginning here in a bit, because why do things in order? That makes no sense. Oh crap! There we go. At the end of the safari ride, you come down here, you go into this glass tunnel, and you've got the lions just right on the other side of the glass. And it didn't end up being very popular. I thought this would be great, but apparently not. So I don't know. It is what it is. I would write it. I'm just saying. All right. Let me skip back to the beginning of that same safari jeep ride. As we come around to the platform for that, we're passing by what used to be a Fennec Fox exhibit, and then I gave up on Fennec Foxes because they're so dang short-lived, and that's before I figured out the sustainable herd process that I was just telling y'all about. You can see that this is right under that gondola platform, but so I ended up replacing it with the giant tortoise exhibit. Because these guys are anything but short-lived, right? But yeah, this was originally, like, that's the hard shelter for the Fennec Foxes, right? Well, that and that. And they liked it okay, but I was getting tired of replacing them every 30 minutes. These are the only two exhibits in the whole zoo. Most of this zoo, the vast majority of this zoo, was built before automatic population management was a thing. And in fact, I only recently repopulated these because population management is now a thing. So, you know, thank you, Frontier, for finally adding that in. That was amazing. But yeah, nothing to look at there much. It's a puff adder and bullfrog. Goliath frog, my bad. Alright, so this is one of the crappier views of the safari, but it does get people's attention. And then there's the platform for the Jeep Safari ride, and that takes us up and over, and ignore that stuff down there that I should have covered over. And there's this ridge running along the back of the Safari Hills. You pretty much get that view of it. Then on the other side, to try and get more people interested in riding, I added the Safari Valley. And to stop for that. So the Safari Valley, you can overlook, you can see my secondary herd of elephants. And sable antelope and several other species that work well in that bunch. But I guess because there's nothing much that's really unique, maybe that's where my zebras are. I don't know if I have any in the hills or not. I guess because there's nothing really much that's unique over here, it wasn't drawing the crowds even on the ride. So the ride's too far away, probably. Still learning. Oh, down here, this is right past the end of the lions. This is an elephant nursery. This is where I had been sending most of my elephant offspring. Try to encourage faster breeding among the adults. And that gets some people in. It does alright. Yep, and then the Jeep track basically just continues along that ridge and loops back around, goes under the lions, and so on. Yeah. Alright, so elephant in the room, I guess, is what this big central complex is. So, first of all, your staff rooms, I'm definitely doing a separate episode on those. But each one of these is a copy-paste of a blueprint that I made. And what they are is Red Panda breeding pens. I wanted this to be kind of like the Red Panda breeding zoo. And so I've got a crap ton of red pandas. They're so cute and fuzzy, and I love them. But I don't love these pens. Like the idea here was to get them all the room and all of the climbing room that they needed in order to not only survive but thrive. And it does that, but it's well, I wish there were more social animals than there are. Then I could just slap them all in a really big habitat and be done with it. But each one of these is its own little apartment unit for 2 red pandas plus whatever offspring. And at this point, actually, a lot of the population is geriatric and not breeding. But you know, then they'll mostly pass away at pretty short order, and pretty close together, and then I'll restock it from the trading center. Yeah, you can see I've got them all numbered. Other than that, they're all pretty much identical. That was just an idea I had. I'm not sorry I did it, but I'll probably never do it again. And it did take a lot of work. There was a glitch where, like, I had null barriers, like, basically right up into the walls, and this is before I had the arch there. And they would basically climb on this, climb on the bamboo, and then, like, pop outside. And, you know, if the null barrier was in the wall, then now there's escapes. And I had constant escapes forever. Which is one of the reasons why I have a barrier all the way around it, just to contain them once they did escape. Keep him out of the lion's den, for instance. Here's a red panda nursery. In theory, I was going to be sending little ones here, but in reality, they're all adults in there now. So that plan kind of fell apart. We're behind, or we're across the way from Amazonia and behind the Amazonia restaurant, so it's pretty central to the zoo. Let's see, what else happened then? This originally was a South American habitat, and then, like, there was actually a bridge the animals could use to cross over, and I'm trying to think. I think it was just a dry bridge. Yeah, I think I had otters and other South American animals in there. Asian? I can't remember. Actually, yeah, I think it might have been Asian. This is a long time ago. I wasn't really happy with how that habitat worked, so I tore it down. And then at one point, there's a community challenge to release like 3-star or 5-star hyenas. I think it's 3-star hyenas. Can't remember. So I converted both these areas into hyena pens, trying to breed them up, show them off, get them stars. I got maybe 2 hyenas released the whole time the challenge was running. It was unspeakably disappointing. Like, I guess I don't know how to get high star ratings. But, yeah. The community as a whole kind of sucked on that one too, so I know I'm in good company. But as a result, I have hyena breeding pens all over the dang zoo, which is not great. Let's see. Under the other end of the gondola platform, I've got more shops. I've got actually a lot more shops. I actually kind of like the way it looks under here. I like the ceiling there with all the girders. I didn't build those. Those are part of the undercarriage of the station. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. This is just kind of advertising the fact that there is the elephant nursery pen right there. It's been a pretty popular area. There's that frame rate stutter again. Ooh. One thing about the gondola rails is that they don't actually exist, like as physical objects, so you can't place anything against them. But using the advanced move tool, I did put in education speakers up here, and I think that actually helps. I think it pays off. Like, I think the guests on the gondola do hear it and respond to it, so, yeah. What haven't we talked about over in this section? I think that pretty well covers the main part of the zoo. And then there's sort of this annex area over here. So I've got a hyena pen right here. I was just trying to squeeze in, like, use every available amount of space. And then this area is actually too small for hyenas, so I ended up digging a tunnel. That tunnel extends all the way over right here, where's the other half of the hyenas. And that was stupid, and they never ever come over here. Like, the game says, oh, okay, they have lots of traversable area. Yeah, I told you I hadn't cleaned this up for showcasing. Anyway, kind of negative about all that. What was this? Oh, yeah, the Indian peafowl. This is, I think, currently my only true walk-in habitat. But they come up here, like, the guests can come up here and stand on the platform and look at the peafowl, and they do actually come over here, so yeah, they're not always over here in the foraging box. Continuing on around here, I did like, this is new. I just did this a couple days ago. And this entire habitat for collared peccary is obviously as new as the anniversary update. So, yeah. Kind of like the way it came out. I need to do more with these grasses and stuff. You know, past here, here's another hyena habitat. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. Some shops and restrooms, and here's platypus. Do we have any swimming? Yeah, we do. Hey, platypus, how you doing? Oh, the camera in this game. Yep. Auxiliary zoo entrance up here, trying to get people in. Because for a while, like, nobody was really coming over to this area at all. What is this? River monitors? Nile monitors? Yeah. Nothing down there. I've forgotten what some of these are. Gharials. Yeah. Forgot these guys were up here. Pretty cool. I'll show you that loop here in a second. For some reason, and I can't even remember why, I set up this whole Renaissance Festival area down here. And then totally failed to theme the restaurant over there. I really don't remember why I did this. I have no idea. It was so long ago. But under here is actually a zoo entrance. Love the conservation pack building blueprints. I think I did this right after that pack came out, actually. But right here I've got my secondary lion exhibit, and I was doing that same, like, swap females, keep males. Obviously you can't have a big herd of lions, or a large pride of lions. I guess it's 1 male and 3 females. Is that how it works? But again, very productive. Like, lots of offspring coming out of these, getting sold on the market. That's pretty great. And then, you know, the glass bridge is a neat look. I don't know. I probably won't do it this way ever again, but I thought it was pretty neat. Right next to it we have, surprise, surprise, more hyenas. And another walk under. Yeah, so that's another secondary entrance to the zoo. A nice little restaurant over here. I think it's a straight blueprint. I didn't even do anything unique with it. Over here we have one of my more interesting habitats. We've got the lemurs, the new lemur habitat, and it's got 3 types of lemurs in here, I believe. Let's see, we've got the black and white ruffed, the red ruffed, and the ringtails. Yeah. And these guys are very prolific, so they must be happy. Like, lots of climb overs. Nice tunnel going through. Yeah. Could have just made it a walk-in habitat, I think. Don't all 3 species support that? But, well, I didn't. Hyena habitat. Surprise, surprise. I'll show you that in a bit. These guys, I think this is my original hyena habitat. Yeah, this is my original hyenas right here. So they had a nice little, African village they could go in and play around in. This is where I learned that you gotta really carefully balance the gender ratios, because they will savage each other if you don't. Coming around this way, we've got this building here. I'm actually going to go into, like, explore mode for this. I can do it properly without the camera completely spazzing out. But as we come down around here, oh, I can run. Sweet. Basically, it's an underwater tunnel. And I forget which YouTuber I follow the tutorial of, but I'm much indebted to them anyway. These are African penguins. All about at the same time, and consequently all dying about the same time right about now. So that sucks. But yeah, just a nice little... And then as you go up, you can come up here, go up the stairs or ramp, and view them from the top on the surface. Yeah. A little hard shelter over here. A lot of rock work. A lot of play area for them. Yep. Over here we have flamingos. And I don't hate this habitat. I don't love it. It needs work. But I don't hate it. In fact, I think there's some elements of it, not the Z fighting there, but there's some elements of it that I like better than the one I did in that that flamingo video I did in the other zoo that I just abandoned. So yeah, there's that. Is that everything? I feel like that's everything. I can't remember anything else, so yeah, I feel like that's got it. This was originally going to be an expansion of the zoo. There's a tunnel through there, and I was going to add some more stuff out here. Yeah, that never happened. The habitats that I'm most proud of, though, are the ones where I did the most terrain work. So, you know, even though I started on a flat map, and my next project I'll almost definitely start on a flat map as well. You know, just taking the time to really get in and do all this contouring and the rock work, that really paid off, I think. It's pretty great. But in the next zoo that I do for recording purposes, I'll be doing less of this crap. Hey, look, it's hard sheltered, guys. I'll be doing less of this crap. And a lot more like actual backstage area. I'll hopefully be doing more of the contouring. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, so there's a river crossing here. And these guys can come up here, and there's another sort of more private area up here. And there's not really any guest overlooks into this section. So it kind of actually sucks when they're up in there, but you know, it gives them a private place, I guess. But, that waterfall kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm going to really try to up my backstage game, do a lot more, you know, the terrain and contouring. Is that... Wow, man, that giraffe looked headless there. Okay, come on. Wait, there's a pangolin exhibit in here somewhere. Habitat. That exhibit. Pangolin. Where did you go? There they are. Yeah. I knew I missed something. I'm going to try to be using more of the ground covers like I did out here in the collared peccary habitat. Yeah. And just trying to take like the best features that I've learned to build and try to make something that's really showcase worthy. But that'll be in a while. So for the next few episodes, what you're going to get is deeper dives into individual constructions and areas here. I do want to spend some time talking about the staff area here and its counterpart back here for the safari back in here. I want to sort of explore a bit more of what I did with the red pandas and these little pods here. I want to, I don't know, maybe look at specific features and moments in these safari habitats. I want to talk more about the African penguins over here. Yeah, just stuff like that. So, if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. If it's not, I probably won't get that many episodes out of it, and then I'll be working on a whole new franchise made for YouTube. So stick around, subscribe if you see any promise here. And I will not be using all these blueprints. I mean, I might use some of these for like background or something, but I won't be doing this nonsense, right? Or especially this. Like I hate those. They're handy, which is why I use them. But ouch. So yeah, I'll be staying away from using the blueprints. But yeah, stick around. Consider hitting the subscribe button. I'd love to see you back for the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.